warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang rekan-rekan sekalian di lokal Indonesia. Hari ini kita mau mengadakan perbincangan percakapan dengan tamu khusus hari ini, special guest and Lisa. Lisa,
hi.
welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
How are you doing?
Good, and you?
All right. Good. Great. So Lisa, we want today. Is it your first time to Indonesia?
It's actually been my second time. First time I visited Indonesia was for a holiday. So this is a completely different experience because I'm now working here and doing my internship.
How long have you been here?
I've been in Indonesia for 5 months already now, and I've been living in Yogyakarta.
Yogyakarta. Okay. I thought you live here in Jakarta. So how was Yogyakarta?
Oh, I love Jogja. Jogja is such a nice city, so many nice people, a very cultural city.
Right. That's interesting. Any favorite food you find in Yogyakarta that is really interesting?
What I find interesting is that, especially like the Jogja government is doing a lot of cultural events. There are many cultural events going on right now, and I work for a silver company, a silver jewelry company, and we are especially known for our filigree art. So we attend those.
So what do you do? What's your role?
So I work on the marketing department, so I'm responsible for the social media and getting people to know with our company, making more noise regarding filigree because it's a dying craftsmanship.
So, this bisa bahasa Indonesia?
Saya bisa
Sedikit
saja.
Okay, yeah, just a few months I think, but it's easy for you to adapt this new language.
Yes, it is, and to be honest, Indonesia is not a really hard language to learn because the language structure is very clear. It's only if you know many words and you can form sentences, so that makes it more easy for yourself.
So, let's I want to know now, are you a student or do you work?
I am a student, so I study in the Netherlands, but I am here in Indonesia for my internship. So for my internship, I work as a marketing intern, so I'm gaining the working experience, the experience how it is to work with different ethnicities, kind of thing.
Alright. Indonesia lagi magang internship in Indonesia. One of the choices in Indonesia. Well, why you choose Indonesia as your internship?
Because in the Netherlands, I study international business for Asia, and my focus country is Indonesia. So for me, it was very clear to go to Indonesia to do my internship.
Alright. So actually, you're a student now, and you're German, but you decided to study in Netherlands. Why you choose Netherlands to study?
I'm actually Dutch. Sorry,
Ah,
Nina,
sorry.
my friend is
Oh, really?
Nina, my friend is from Germany, but I am Dutch.
Oh, I see. So you study in Dutch?
Yes.
I mean, I thought, what do you think? Because you study in your own country, what do you think? If someone study abroad, I mean, in another country, like what Lina did now, right? Do now.
I think it's quite hard because, of course, if you're studying in a different country, you're moving to a country for, let's say, for Lina, it's already 4 years. So you really have to adapt, of course, language and also cultural. And the thing is, you're being far away from your family.
That's the barrier as well.
Yes, that's the barrier. And also, you have to become very independent.
Well, then you want to try to study in another country, maybe for your graduate program, so to just get the experience.
For me, it was more that I wanted to do my internship here because I gained working experience to be a more intercultural competent person. Because in my future career, I would like to work in Indonesia. So this is really helping me to understand how business culture is.
Yeah. It's, how about the diversity itself with Dutch in Netherlands?
The diversity in the Netherlands is very big. We have a multicultural community. We have many different ethnicities. But that's the same here in Indonesia, of course, because what I found the struggle at my workplace is that I speak Indonesian a little bit, but most of my colleagues speak Japanese.
Japanese?
Japanese.
Okay, Japanese.
Because most of them, they are a little bit older, so when they speak to each other, they tend to speak in Japanese, but I try to learn some things, but I find Japanese a very hard language to learn.
You can study it here, I think. All right, so talking about study, some of our students think that barriers for learning a foreign language is the language,
Yes.
right? So, what do you think when you come to Indonesia? You also have barriers, especially in Bahasa Indonesia. So, what should be done, in order to understand culture faster, quickly?
What I would say is don't be scared. If you speak, just speak. People will help you and they won't make fun of you. And it's a learning experience, so making mistakes is okay. Just try to engage with your students around you, or with your colleagues, or just with people on the street, or when you're ordering food, try to order it in.
Alright. Did you learn any foreign language when you were a child?
Yes, I learned English. We learned English at elementary school already. So I've been learning English for a very long time. And after I graduated high school, I also went abroad for a month and I studied at the Language Institute and I obtained my C2 certificate over there.
Yeah, no wonder, because some of our students say that you're naked. You speak like American. Alright, now, another question is that I want to know, this is personal, so who is actually the most influenced people who encourage you studying?
To be honest, I would say it's my dad, because he always encouraged me to go abroad, to broaden your worldview, to broaden your mentality, because he also works abroad and says it makes you a better person. It makes you to have better understanding skills when you've been working with different people, working in different countries, and also you really learn about yourself. Because of course I'm here and I'm living here alone, so I had to become way more independent and taking care of my own
that's
things.
really important to become independent, especially when you're alone,
Yes.
with other countries. So you think support from parents really important?
Yes, support of your parents is very important and it's good to have support, but when you're living here you still have support, but you cannot call your parents to solve your problems because they're on the other side of the world.
I want to know your experience in your freshman, because you're new and you're surrounded by people who you might not really know about. They're not one of your family. So how do you think it's?
So the first thing, what I've noticed when I started working, like the first week, people were a little bit scared to speak to me.
Yeah.
But that's okay because you have to, of course, get to know each other. But later on, we got to know each other very well, and it helps when you have your lunchtime together. So to speak with your colleagues or your students, so you get to know them, and people feel more comfortable speaking to you, and you feel more comfortable speaking to them.
All right, that's really important. So let's get back to talk about when we talk about Amsterdam, Netherlands. I always think about fabrics, artists like Vermeer and also many painters. Let's talk about subject. What subject is really important in this nowadays?
I think intercultural competencies, because the working environments are changing. Many companies are expanding internationally, so you have to have some understanding of different cultures, different people, because if you do not, it can get quite hard to work together with someone who has a different point of view.
That's important, intercultural skills. Okay?
Yes.
Ini ada satu baru buat saya menarik karena bisa bilang itu intercultural, cross culture, mempelajari budaya itu menjadi satu skill yang sangat penting untuk dikuasai ke depan nanti. Ya. Because of the globalization, diversity, that's why we have to know to understand people. So, what do you think about diversity right now? I mean, do you think that people are getting better understanding diversity?
Yes, I think they do, especially because more people are becoming experts and moving all around the world. So I think that people are growing to be more intercultural competent. But it also depends on the place where you grew up or where you live. Because if you grew up in a really small village, of course your intercultural competence skills are going to be a little bit less because you're less exposed to different ethnicities or different cultures.
Is there any specific skills that students can take for the study? Because many students think that IT is one of the most significant knowledge that you have to
Of
grab?
course, but IT is also very hard, and
Mhm.
and IT, what I understand about IT is it's a very difficult field to get in because the rivalry is really high because lots of people want to get into that industry. But I also think when I look at Indonesia, I think that economics is also very important because when you look at the Indonesian governmental plans for the economy, they want Indonesia to be a super economy or in the top 3 in 2045, and that's not a long. It's for now it's still far away, but when you're studying that and have a good understanding of the economics, it will be very important because this country will be a super economy. It will grow to be one of the biggest countries, and of course, already like big international companies as Nike are establishing themselves here in Indonesia because the Indonesian people are very good with craftsmanship.
Okay, so what do you think about Indonesian students? I mean, they expect to learn something modern, something advanced, while actually they have their own traditions. So how well is it to keep our own identity when you are in diversity, especially when you study abroad? Because sometimes when they take lessons or course, they're influenced by other students. So I think that because this is one of the most popular subjects, so how they could relate the culture they have with the advancements of modernity right now.
What I would say is never forget your identity because it shapes you who you are. Like never forget your cultural beliefs or your cultural background. You can incorporate other cultural beliefs, but never forget where you come from because that is part of you.
Okay. So I want to know when you were in university because we have many friends from many different countries. I want to know how they can take any extracurricular lessons that can help them to mingle with other people. Is it important?
Yes, and I think a fun extracurricular activity you could do is sports. Because if you are, especially team sports, if you do that outside of school, you can do something that you enjoy, but you also meet lots of new people and you play together. So, and it also will help with your communication skills, especially when you play team sport.
Alright, so ekskul penting supaya bisa adaptasi dengan student lain, bisa mingle ya, bisa belajar bahasa juga. So actually I want to ask more questions to Lisa, but I think the time is limited. So before we end it, we wrap this up. I want to have your advice for our students, especially for freshman students, what they should do.
What I would say is always be careful, especially when you're a girl. Always keep in mind that you never know someone's true intention. So that's important. And what I also would say is try to communicate as much as you can with the people around you. Please don't be scared or shy. Making mistakes is okay. It's alright. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. All right. Don't worry about things. Don't worry about making mistakes. Always try to speak up, mingle with other people, to be open with other people.
Yes, and be yourself, and especially try when you are in a different country, try to engage in a culture, try new dishes.
That's really cool. That's a nice advice from Lisa. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being here.
Having me today.
Thank you so much. Have you great successful in the future.
Thank you.
Graduation. Thank you.